Every sport has its legends.
Jordan. Oh, a spectacular move by Michael Jordan.
But some names transcend the game itself, becoming synonymous with courage, dedication, and sheer, undeniable brilliance. In Formula One, that name is Ayrton Senna.
Ayrton Senna do Brasil!
A man who raced with a fierce intensity the world had never seen. A Brazilian storm in a yellow helmet who redefined what it meant to push the limit. From his humble beginnings in Brazil to his legendary dominance, Senna was a force of nature. He was a three-time world champion who held nothing back, captivating millions of fans, especially here in the United States, where he delivered some of his most memorable victories. But the journey of a hero often ends too soon. This is the story of Ayrton Senna da Silva, the pilot, the legend, the man whose legacy lives on, echoing in every fast lap and every daring overtake. Ayrton began his path not on the asphalt of a Grand Prix, but on the dust of karting tracks in São Paulo. Here, the raw, competitive fire that would define him was ignited. He moved to England in the early 80s, climbing the ranks of the European single-seater series, Formula Ford 1600, Formula Ford 2000, and Formula 3. He dominated these categories, a clear sign that a unique talent was emerging. His performance was impossible to ignore. In 1984, the small Toleman team gave him his shot. Few expected what would happen next. It was a baptism by fire, or more accurately, by rain. Monaco, 1984. The Principality was drowned in a relentless downpour. Starting from a distant 13th, the rookie put on a driving masterclass. He was slicing through the field, gaining on the leader, Alain Prost, at a blistering pace. The race was controversially stopped on lap 31. Senna finished second, but everyone knew. He was robbed of a win, and the F1 world had just witnessed the birth of a legend. The Rain Man had arrived. In 1985, Senna moved to Lotus, a prestigious team that gave him his first victory at the Portuguese Grand Prix. Again, it was in a torrential rain. It became clear, when the conditions were at their worst, Senna was at his best. But beyond the rain, Senna developed his signature skill, the pole position. He treated every qualifying lap like a race in itself, pushing the car and himself to a spiritual limit. His move to McLaren in 1988 marked a historic moment. He joined forces with the reigning champion, Alain Prost. It was the beginning of one of the greatest and most bitter rivalries in sports history, the professor versus the magician. The 1988 season was legendary. Driving the dominant McLaren MP44, Senna claimed 8 victories and 13 pole positions, a record that stood for years. The final confrontation for the title was in Japan. Suzuka, 1988. Senna stalled on the grid. He dropped to 14th place. But in one of the greatest recovery drives, he carved his way back, eventually passing Prost to win the race and secure his first world championship. The rivalry with Prost escalated from 1989 onwards. Their differences were not only in driving style, Prost the tactical perfectionist, Senna the fierce competitor, but in their very philosophy of racing. Suzuka, 1989. The championship was on the line. Senna needed a win. They collided at the final chicane. Prost retired. Senna was push-started, won the race, but was controversially disqualified for cutting the track. Prost was champion. The tension was palpable in 1990. Once again, it came down to Suzuka. Senna had pole, but was furious that the pole position was on the dirtier side of the track. When the lights went out, Prost, now in a Ferrari, took the lead. Entering the first corner, Senna made no attempt to brake. He intentionally crashed into Prost, ending both of their races and securing his second world championship. A controversial but ultimately definitive move by a man obsessed with winning. In 1991, Senna secured his third and final world championship, dominating early in the season and cementing his place as one of the all-time greats. In total, he secured 41 wins and 65 pole positions. While his rivalry with Prost captured the headlines, Senna's mastery of the tight street circuit of Monaco became the stuff of legend. He was dubbed the King of Monaco, winning the race 6 times, a record that still stands. His 1992 performance in Monaco, battling Nigel Mansell with a vastly inferior car, showcased his pure driving talent and unparalleled defense. It was a victory won not by speed, but by willpower. Senna's connection to the United States was strong. He won the US Grand Prix a remarkable 5 times, 3 in Detroit and 2 in Phoenix, always on challenging street circuits that favored his aggressive style. Perhaps his most spectacular performance came in 1993 at the European Grand Prix in Donington Park. In a soaked track, the opening lap, known simply as the Lap of the Gods, saw him go from 5th to 1st in a single breathtaking circuit. 1994 brought a new challenge. Senna moved to Williams, then the dominant force in F1. The season started with a dark shadow. New safety regulations had made the cars harder to drive. Imola, San Marino Grand Prix. The weekend was marred by tragedy. Rubens Barrichello's serious crash on Friday and the devastating death of Roland Ratzenberger on Saturday. Senna was deeply shaken. May 1st, 1994. The start was chaotic. On lap 7, leading the race, Ayrton Senna's Williams left the track at the high-speed Tamburello curve.
Senna bateu forte. Ali na Tamburello. A batida muito forte.
The world watched in stunned silence. The race was stopped. Senna was airlifted to a hospital in Bologna. The news came later that day. The legend was gone at 34. The global outpouring of grief was immense.
Era ídolo para mim. Ele representava muito o Brasil. Beijo, Senna. Não te esquecerei nunca mais. O povo brasileiro precisa de comida, educação e saúde e pouco de alegria. Alegria foi.
Senna's death was a pivotal moment. It forced Formula One to confront its safety issues. Thanks to his sacrifice, the sport changed forever. Circuits were redesigned, and cars became safer, saving countless lives in the following decades. Ayrton Senna was more than a world champion. He was a global icon of relentless pursuit of excellence. He inspired generations of drivers, including modern heroes like Lewis Hamilton, who constantly cite Senna as their ultimate inspiration. His story is not just about the triumphs and the dramatic rivalries. It is about a fierce will to win, a spirit that never gave up, and an indelible mark left on the world of speed. The echo of that Brazilian storm still drives the heart of Formula One.